Bangladesh is under a nationwide curfew after weeks of protest turned violent. Military forces are now patrolling the streets of the capital, Dhaka, in a bid to restore calm. More than 100 people have been killed in clashes with police. The unrest started after the government reintroduced limits on who has access to highly sought-after government jobs.
Security forces fill the streets of Dhaka. They've been sent in to restore order after weeks of unrest. People are being told they can only go out to shop for groceries and other essentials. The government is also disrupting internet and mobile services. For weeks, students have been protesting against the reintroduction of a quota system that allocates more than half of government jobs to women, minorities, and the families of veterans. It's a matter of common sense that over 50% of the jobs can't be given away to quota holders. A normal state can't be run like this. The protests started out as peaceful, but turned increasingly violent in recent days when police responded with tear gas, sound grenades, and rubber bullets, killing dozens and injuring thousands more. Protesters have burnt vehicles, attacked public buildings, and stormed the headquarters of the state broadcaster, crashing their program mid-show. Amnesty International says Bangladeshi police have used, quote, unlawful force against protesters.
We, analyzed in particular the shooting of Abu Saeed, the first student who was known to be killed. You can see that two officers were, discharging 12-gauge shotguns at him, and we assessed that for geospatial intelligence that the distance between them was 15 meters. So we got a forensic analyst to look at the chest wounds and it was consistent with birdshot. Now we consider the use of birdshot, which is a hunting weapon, to be completely inappropriate in the use of policing protests.
There are also reports of a student wing from the ruling party Awami League inciting violence and attacking female protesters with directed brutality.
They seem to have really targeted the women and girls. So we had women and girls who told us we thought they would spare us, that they wouldn't, attack us. But in fact, they seem to have attacked them with a particular vengeance, launching, punches and kicks, they said, on their breasts, backs, and stomachs.
Anger against such attacks is still raw. Many say the protests won't stop until the government abandons its quota system. They're also demanding it investigates the students' deaths.
Let's get more on this from DW reporter Binish Javed. Hello, Binish. There's just a lot going on, so much violence, more than 100 people killed so far. Tell us more about what's going on.
Eddie, what we know that these protests started peacefully. When the court reinstated the quota system, the students opposed that system. They started protesting, but then there was a hard crackdown on these protests by the police, by Rapid Action Battalion, by border guards. So students were fighting, retaliating with all of these forces. Then there were also reports of assaults by a pro-student government body, Chhatra League, that reportedly assaulted students at Dhaka University. And all of this crackdown that the students say was carried out at the behest of the government, escalated, students retaliated, and then things got really bad. So bad that we see that thousands of students, injured students, were went to the hospitals, and then many people died.
Right, and to make matters worse, we also understand there's a complete internet shutdown.
Complete internet shutdown, complete mobile service cut down. Eddie, as reporters, it's so difficult to cover this story. I've been trying to contact activists, journalists in Bangladesh to speak to the protesters. And all of my messages, on my WhatsApp messages, there's only one tick. My messages are not being received. When I try to call them, it's just impossible to speak to somebody. If you try to access information on Bangladeshi news websites, they are shut. So it seems like to get the actual truth on the ground, what's happening, it's really hard.
Definitely makes things more intense. Why is the government's quota system so contentious? Because that's what this is all about.
That's the heart of the problem. And we can explain to our viewers the quota system with the help of this graphic. So basically, in the quota system, 44% jobs are like students can apply on merit. 30% of the jobs are reserved for the relatives of freedom fighters, 10% jobs are reserved for people from backward districts, 10% for women, 5% for minorities, and 1% is reserved for people with disabilities. Eddie, we have to understand that so why this is so makes students so angry is because they believe it's unfair, it's discriminatory, that 30% of the government's really sought out jobs because because government jobs comes with a lot of benefits. Student wants these jobs, and they believe that allocating 30% for the families of freedom fighters is now. The War of Independence was in 1971, when actually the founding father of Bangladesh, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, introduced this quota to help and facilitate the freedom fighters who helped Bangladesh win the war. But over years, now there is a strong belief that it's unfair, that many people have faked that they are freedom fighters, and that also there's a perception that the government of Sheikh Hasina, and Sheikh Hasina is daughter of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and it's the ruling Awami League that led the movement of independence.
Right.
So it's widely believed that this quota system largely favors the supporters of the government of Sheikh Hasina, and that's why there is this insistence from the government that the quota system remains in place.
Right. So it's an argument of protesters thinking it's not a fair system, but also bringing to light that the system is being exploited by people and they are not benefiting from it. But it begs this question, though. Why does Bangladesh need such a quota system? How challenging is the job market?
The job market is challenging. And yes, Bangladesh is hailed for its economic success. It was once a poor country, but under the government of Sheikh Hasina, Bangladesh has seen tremendous economic success. But things are not that good anymore. From the last couple of years, the economy is struggling. There's huge unemployment. If we can also show a graphic to our audiences, around 18 million young people in Bangladesh are unemployed. They're looking for jobs, actively looking for jobs, but they can't find. So the job market is very competitive. And therefore, there is a desire among many, many young graduates to have a safe, secure, a stable government job, which offers many benefits and offers job security. And also, this is very frustrating for many students, because when these jobs, when the students apply for these jobs, and there's a very less chance of getting these jobs, and there is agitation, then there's desperation, then there is anger. And that we see right now, that students are adamant that this quota system is unfair and they should be given a fair chance, on merit to apply for these government jobs.
Right. DW, we've been covering this for a while. Tell us, how is this playing out online?
Eddie, because there's complete... there's the almost like censorship on the coverage in the local media. A lot of Bangladeshi students and people are using social media. On many of the videos that we have done in the last couple of days, we have received over 10,000 comments from people, and we can share some of the comments. Let's have a look at the first comment by Saad Sajjad 406, a YouTube user, and he says, "I'm concerned about my family's safety. Students are protesting for their fundamental rights. It is disconcerting to see how the government has tackled the whole situation." And another user said, "There's no internet in the whole country. I can't contact my family. That is a human rights violation. Where are the international human rights activists?" And another user said, "Students are shot at in our country by order of the government. I feel ashamed to call this country my native land." And Eddie, these are just some of the comments.
Right.
Many of the users are using hashtag Save Bangladeshi Students. Most of the comments say Save Bangladeshi Students. And there is also a solidarity in the online community. Many people, many young people in Pakistan and India are expressing solidarity with these students. We see comments where people are telling from which part of the country they are, and they are with the Bangladeshi students. Let's see how things unfold. As of now, what we see, both sides seem adamant. We've seen in the report curfew is imposed. Hopefully, there is some negotiation between the two parties, and we could see an end of this very strong stalemate.
Right. We'll keep viewers updated on what happens on the ground. Binish Javed, thank you.